Hello my ghosties and ghoulies, it's Dolores from Picto Ghost Walks, and we're here to do a little fun thing that I like to do at the end of the year. I've done these before. I can't always guarantee that they are going to be accurate, but they're certainly going to be fun. This is my predictions going into the 2026 year. So if you enjoy predictions and you want to have a little fun, stick around, and you never know what we might come up with here. I am going to let the cards determine what direction we move in, what things we want to talk about. I'm going to pull 5 cards as we go along, and they will be the 5 predictions for worldwide influence over the next 2026. Alright, so let's have a look. Let's shuffle up the cards here and see what we have. 5 predictions for 2026. Cool. Okay. So the first prediction is around work and about savings, so accumulation. So this may be about how people are accumulating or being able to start to accumulate again. This could have some economic things attached to it. It does feel like there's something happening economically for worldwide or the larger scope. It doesn't have to be worldwide, but it's not just for one person. This is like a world type of reading. And it's looking to me like people are going to be hanging on to what they have and trying to accumulate what they have. So thrift is going to be a watchword for 2026 and hanging on to what you have. And also like leaving behind the baggage attached to the material world. I think people are becoming, or will be becoming in 2026, less attached to the material world and the things they're buying and the things they own. They're leaving some of that baggage behind, and they're moving to a higher resonant frequency, and their aims are more spiritual, more emotional, and less economic. So this is good. And in the meantime, thrift is being the watchword here. They're taking care of and hanging on to what you have is going to be super important for 2026. So making big investments, maybe not the greatest year for it. Hanging on to what you have and trying to accumulate with what you have. Definitely the word for it. Yeah, there's definitely a sense of people trying to build wealth and it's more connected to generational wealth. I feel like there has been a trend for generations to be more connected, and I think that that's going to be happening more over 2026. Generations and families being closer than they have been in the past, and sharing economic burden more than they have in the past. So it's more than just parents helping out kids. It could be wider family and wider community helping each other on the economic level. So this is going to be one of the kind of trends for next year is accumulating as group, accumulating as family as opposed to individual, and being able to leave behind some of the material stuff because family is going to be more important and going to be more of the solace and comfort of people's lives than the economic stuff and the material goods that they're accumulating. So I do feel like the trend away from materialism is happening more in 2026. So that is our first prediction. Our second prediction is around opportunities. Interesting. So you have the Three of Wands. Three of Wands is about opportunity, but it's also about assessment. It's about reassessing and looking at things differently, or kind of looking at things with a mind to change, with a mind to redirecting energies. I do feel like there is something going on here. Let me have a look. Okay. Okay. So what I'm seeing here on the world level is you have the Three of Clubs, which is about it can be about like reassessing and redirecting energy and resource, okay? And there may be something that's happening where this is starting to happen, and it's starting to happen because there has been a great imbalance with the Temperance in reverse. And the Temperance is kind of like alchemy. It's about keeping all of the elements of things in balance so that things move forward in a peaceful and happy manner. When it's unbalanced, it becomes chaotic and it becomes problematic, and this is where things like social strife and economic problems and societal problems start to happen. There's a great emphasis on this, and there is a sense of it's being looked at. This problem is being looked at deeper than it has been before, and more. There's people going to be actively seeking in 2026 solutions to these problems that are creating socioeconomic hardship and inequality with temperance. So things being very, very out of balance. And I think that there are people in the world that are in positions of power that are going to be looking at these things in a different way coming this year and trying to find solutions to these things and finding them. The star is about energy. It's putting energy into the problems of the society and redirecting the energy so that it's shared instead of wasted. Because there is a sense with this of waste of energy, waste of this is about waste. But this is happening on a more intuitive and global level. It's not happening with one person making decisions or even one aspect of government making decisions. This is happening on a wider scale. This is an energy redirection with the star, and a sharing of resource, a sharing of wealth, a sharing of things. And this is something that's going to be happening more so. It feels more political to me, like on the political realm, that there's something happening where there's a shift occurring and a kind of redistribution of wealth, a redistribution of energy happening here. So that the temperance can come back into balance and there can be solutions to problems that benefit everyone and not just a small segment of the population. So this might be something that's happening over the next while. I do feel like there's a new leader emerging. It may not be in the political field, it may be in some other field, but it feels like there's a new leader emerging. That, I mean, they may be around now. Obviously, it's not going to be, they're not being born this year. This is somebody coming to the forefront with solutions. And they're solutions that are more community-based, and they're more sharing of resource than anything else. And it's like there's a sense of bringing this thing back into balance, bringing these things back into balance. Very nice. I like to see this. So I don't know in what, that's a little ethereal, but and a little bit cloudy, but that's all I could pull for this one. So I would say this is about socioeconomic challenges over the next year and how solutions are going to be looked for and found. And I do feel like there's new leadership and there's new movements coming out of community. This isn't necessarily top-down governance. It feels very more grassroots to me than it has in the past. Okay, so that was the second, and this is the third. Queen of Wands, getting things done. There is a sense of, there's something happening with the world, with the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is a desire to actually achieve things, make things happen, grow things, nurture things into being, but there's been a struggle. I'm not sure what area of the world, this has definitely been a struggle around this. Wherever there has been a sense of struggle to make things happen, struggle to make change occur, and struggle to create things, the creative energies of next year for across the board. Now this can be, there's a sense of with the creative energies of next year, there's been a struggle with creation in some respect, but there's a change in this because of the Magician card. There's a sense that where there has been a struggle in the past to create, there is now a sense of new tools and new things available to allow creation to happen. This, I have a weird feeling that this is connected to AI. I have a weird feeling like these are creators, and the sense of the fear of AI and the fear around that, changing the outlook for creative people and for artists in particular. And there's a sense of they may have been going through a period of fear around whether that was going to stop them from creating or stop them from being able to create or to be paid for the creation. And I feel like there's something in this year where there's more of a sense of aligning with tools and using the AI as a tool as opposed to something that is replacing. I don't think we're replacing artists. I think that there's a sense of growing sense with next year, or sorry, with 2026, of kind of harnessing the power of these things and using them as almost like a new kind of paintbrush rather than replacing the artist. And I think that's really more the direction that artists are going to be looking at this stuff in. I don't think the AI is going away, but I think the direction and the way it's used might be changing over this year, and then it's starting to be looked at as more of another tool in the toolbox rather than replacing the artists themselves. And challenge number 4, or okay. Interesting cards. I think that there is a drive towards a segment of population that is in burnout or will be feeling burnt out this year. There is a segment of population, especially working with children. I do feel like there is something happening in education this year where there's a sense of needing change. There's a definite need for change. This is connection to education and childhood back here, and this is connection to work and taking pride in work and being focused in work. But what it's doing is creating pain. I feel like there might be struggle around the educational fields this year. It feels like there's a struggle around support for those fields, and there needs to be something that happens to change the dynamic and the way that they've worked in the past, because it's not working anymore. It's not connecting people to and people are getting burnt out. I feel there's a big sense of teacher burnout this year, and a sense of struggle around it, and that there needs to be, and I think that this might be something that happens this year, is there's starts to become more of a recognition of the need for change in the educational field, and a need for supports around educators in particular and how they're connecting to kids. It's kind of weird because I'm being drawn in a sense to the structure back here. I feel like there might be a new push, as weird as this sounds, because we just came out of a pandemic and people are returned to school and everything like that. I feel like there is some segment of the population or some segment of the world right now going into this year, that by the end of this year there might actually feel like being educated remotely might be more beneficial to some than others. I think that there's something about being at an actual school here that it's like the focus of it might be lessened to a certain degree. I'm not sure why. There might be a new resurgence and a new popularity of homeschooling. There might be a new resurgence or population of remote learning in some aspects, because there is a sense that this isn't working and it's creating pain. There's definitely shifts and changes and pain created in the educational world this year. So that is something that will be very interesting to watch, to see if there are educational changes that are happening and new supports and things that might be needed happening here. It does feel very kind of heavy energy around it. Okay, and the last segment that we're going to pull. Okay. Interesting. There's a sense of, this is a card about severing. Severing of relationships, severing of the way things have been done in the past, severing of organizations, of friendships, of relationships, of that kind of thing. There's a lot of severing happening here. But the severing is happening for the most important reason and the best reason possible. So there's severance and ending here. Relationships, governments, anything like that. It can be anything. So it can be the government itself, it can be relationships between people, but there's a sense of a falling away or a separating of relationships. So there's severance in relationship, but it happens for the best reason possible, because what it does is it clears out old energy that allows the Ace of Cups to present. The Ace of Cups is about brand new beginnings, brand new starts, and abundance. So there's a new sense of abundance and joy around the Ace of Cups. This is fulfillment. This is about feeling happy and fulfilled, and that like things are good, and that there's good leadership, there's good there's an overflowing of wealth and abundance that happens with the Ace of Cups. But it doesn't happen until this thing is gone, until this severance happens. So there's something that ends and is severed here or comes to an end, and then this new abundance grows out of it. Not everybody's going to be happy about this. Some people are going to be very unhappy about this, but regardless of that, I do think that this is something that's happening. And it also feels like this is happening because there is a judgment around this. There is a decision around this, that this isn't working the way it should, and that it needs to end. So this thing is, that's why it's happening. But there is new abundance and new opportunities and things coming, and new happiness coming here. It comes at a cost. It comes at a cost of letting go of old things, and letting go of old relationships, and severing old ways of doing things. So it does come at a cost, but with this abundance card, it feels like it's worth it. The cost is worth it, even though some people might still cling to this old way of doing things. And that's what it feels like. It's like wanting to resurrect the old, wanting to resurrect the having that kind of feeling around this card. So these people aren't going to be happy about it until they see the benefit that is coming through the Ace of Cups. So those are the challenges and things that are going to be, we'll see what happens this year coming up, and hopefully they will be positive changes. It felt like a lot of it was positive changes. There's certainly some challenges in there. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you aren't subscribed, please do subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you can always get notified when I put up new readings, which I will be doing on a weekly basis this year. I'll be doing one card, pick a card readings for every week or we're going to try at least to do every week in 2026. And hopefully you'll stick around for those. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and we will see you next time. Until then, stay warm, stay happy, and don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night, because they're there in the light too. Have a great week.